Listen, I don't think everyone needs to do a shoulder warm-up, but if you're gonna do a shoulder warm-up, hopefully you're doing something in the gym that's actually productive and moving the needle forward. I think oftentimes I see people that are about to bench 225 pounds, 315 pounds, and they're doing some rinky-dinky rotator cuff exercises. And there's so many ways to warm up the shoulder, build some general capacity, and we're gonna be going over a couple. Lucas, you gotta stop. We're gonna be going off a couple today. One of the things that we typically see is people do kind of like rotator cuff exercises while holding a dumbbell, and it doesn't respect the actual line of pull or how to properly activate the rotator cuff. It's more like an ISO for the bicep when you do it this way. So first thing is first, we're gonna go with 3 progressions for our shoulder external rotation. The first one is super basic, keeping the elbow by your side, and then Lucas is gonna open up towards me, slowly bring it back, open up towards me, slowly bring it back. If that gets easy, we can start to progress the range of motion, and Lucas can support his elbow there, and we can go into 90 degrees of shoulder flexion. Lucas thought it was gonna be easy. It gets kind of tough. Yeah. And then we can progress this afterwards to Lucas facing the cable. And then when you come here, I want you to just really rotate from the elbow. Perfect. So we're going from by the side to here to 90-90. And it's just putting the shoulder in a more compromised position or more extreme range of motion and then training from there. With the cable setup, I like to go for like 10 to 12 rep maxes and making sure that you have about 2 to 3 reps left in the tank before you start to progress the weight further. One of the other things to start to address is getting the shoulder blade to actually move. So many times we see people that train their chest, they pin their shoulder blades down and back. They train their rows, they pin their shoulder blades down and back. And all of a sudden, they can't move their shoulders. And we need to promote shoulder blade movement to maintain our mobility. And we can do this with the scat press. So Lucas, get into all fours. In this position, I just want you to focus on letting the shoulder blades get closer together and then moving away as much as you can, keeping your chin proud. Perfect. So the shoulder blades come together, retracting, and the shoulder blades come apart, and that's protracting. We're gonna go for 15 repetitions here, but if you're pretty strong, chances are you can do this pretty easily. So Lucas, we're gonna go right hand on the left elbow. Or opposite, right hand on the left elbow. Yep, take it. And then same thing, we're gonna let ourselves drop towards the ground and come out of that position. And what we're working on, it's like that Bruce Lee muscle, right? The serratus muscle, the boxer, the puncher muscle. That muscle is gonna help pin the shoulder blade to your rib cage as you raise your arms overhead. So we've got to train it by getting this reach occurring. So we can go for 15 repetitions, and sometimes you'll see a huge discrepancy side to side. Try to address it, but try to get 15. Another common thing that we see when people are moving their arms overhead is to get their traps that really shrug up a ton, their upper traps. And one of the things we want to promote is going to be the lower trap. That's going to help pull the shoulder blade down this way so that we can go into upward rotation. So Lucas is going to demonstrate an exercise. He's going to get into a little bit of a hinge. And from here, he's gonna go into scaption. So it's not forward or directly to the side, it's kind of in between. And one thing that you might find is that you feel a ton of traps in this motion. I want you to actively reach your arm away from your body and raise it up. And that's gonna give you a lot more of that low to mid trap. You feel a difference there, Lucas? So Lucas is pretty strong, 10 pounds is tough. Some people will get cooked with body weight, but you could probably pick something like 5 pounds and get a decent workout in. Yeah, 10 is pretty tough. But this is a great way to train some of that protraction and reaching in the scat press, and it starts to promote it to something that's more relevant, like an overhead press. Other things that we want to address is just going to be the joint health, right? Making sure that we can express full internal and external rotation at a joint. We can do this by including a kettlebell corkscrew into the program. So Lucas is going to lay on his side, and he's gonna lay in a hook line position with his knee bent. He's gonna press up the kettlebell towards the ceiling. In this position, he's gonna corkscrew into internal rotation and then go out into external rotation. And each time he goes into internal and external rotation, I just want him to fight for like a millimeter more of movement. And we're doing this slow, nice and controlled. The biggest mistakes that we see is that people use too light of a weight and it's not challenging enough. By the time you do about 10 repetitions, internal and external rotation, you should feel a decent amount of work in the shoulder, in the elbows, and the forearms. That whole arm should be lit up. But if you're doing this with like 10 or 15 pounds, it's not gonna do the job. Lucas is doing with 35 and it's a decent bit of work, right?
Shaking.
Beautiful. So load this up heavy, big ranges of motion, and go for 10 per side. Next thing you can include in your program that's a great warm-up for not just the shoulder, but also the hips, is gonna be a kettlebell arm bar. So Lucas is gonna be in the same setup. He's gonna press up the bell towards the ceiling. The same side that the bell is pressed up, the knee is gonna be bent, and he's gonna roll over to a side. Good. And in this position, if it's easy to hold it there, we can start to add a corkscrew as well. So if it's tough to add the corkscrew and make it more dynamic, just simply hold it there. It's a great warm up in itself already, but as that gets easier, feel free to start to add the rotations. And we'll just watch Lucas do a couple more reps. This is phenomenal technique. Lucas, can you bring your knees to march towards your chest? If that's hard to keep both legs down, you can easily march your legs like that to make it a little bit easier. But this is a phenomenal warm up for the hips and to mobilize your upper back and shoulder. You can have a bunch of random exercises in your warm-up, or you can include the exercises that we went over today, and they're gonna increase your body temperature, improve capacity at the shoulder joint, and it's even gonna help address asymmetry side to side for the ones that we're doing single arm. And I think it's way more beneficial to do something like this opposed to just random arm circles and pretending that a yellow TheraBand is actually gonna be warming up your shoulder. And if you're somebody that's been dealing with long-standing shoulder pain and it's feeling stiffer, you can't get back to doing the things you love, like heavy benching or moving things overhead, or maybe you just want to throw, reach out to us. We treat so many shoulder and overhead athletes. And if you're dealing with something that's been long-standing, you're probably going to need something a little bit more specific than this video. So you can schedule a phone consultation below. You can chat with someone on our team to see if what we do is a right fit for what you're experiencing.